Thomas Weather.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Hear Rich's forecast hourly on these Blue Water Broadcasting radio stations.
Good morning, everybody. On this Thursday morning, it's the 29th day of August, and it feels really nice out here this morning with 68 degrees and a dew point of 65 a little bit before 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll talk about this nice day today as far as lower humidity and another nice night tonight. We'll look ahead to the Labor Day weekend when the humidity comes back. But of course, the big story, the story everybody cares about, is Hurricane Dorian, expected to become a major hurricane and affect the southeastern U.S., particularly Florida. But what happens after Florida? First of all, the models are in very much disagreement on the details of where Dorian could actually end up in Florida. And then they are also in disagreement on how it could possibly affect the weather over the rest of the southeastern U.S. So I'll tell you what we know this morning as we get into the details. Here we go. First, let's talk about the nice air covering the southeastern U.S. That big high north of Memphis is responsible for the lower humidity. In fact, the dew points are back down in the 60s. That's nice. Even some 50s up in North Alabama. So it's going to be a great day today with less humidity and sunshine, high up to about 91. Look at that low tonight, 66, with northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour today. And here's tomorrow morning, 60s perhaps all the way down to the Gulf Coast, mid-60s here in central Alabama. That's going to be a nice start. So a comfortable start tomorrow, tolerable humidity, and then the humidity will come back at us on Saturday along with the spotty storms, and we'll continue to watch the future of Dorian as far as the Monday through Wednesday forecast is all dependent on where Dorian goes. Here's the GFS Sunday at 1 p.m. It shows Dorian off the central Florida coast. Meanwhile, the European is very different, much farther south into the Bahamas with Dorian on Sunday afternoon. And then you look at Monday on the GFS, well, it has Dorian, near Jacksonville, Florida. But wait till you see what the European does. It has a much stronger system near Miami. Well, that's very different. So the models just don't know how to handle this situation. And it's going to be... our forecast is going to be dependent on what happens with Dorian. There it is in Georgia, according to the GFS on Tuesday. That could have effect on Alabama's weather. But the European says, no, it's going to be down in Florida on Tuesday. So you see the dilemma, the forecast dilemma that we have. We're going to have to watch Dorian with great interest over the entire next few days. 94 the high tomorrow after that great start at 66. Humidity returns Saturday, some scattered hit or miss storms around Saturday, Sunday, Monday. After Monday, everything is dependent on Dorian's future. Meanwhile, the other system out in the Atlantic we don't care about, that's Erin. It's a tropical depression. We're going to spend our time talking about Dorian. And here it is this morning, 150 miles north-northwest of San Juan with 85-mile-an-hour winds, moving northwest at 13 miles per hour, expected to become a major hurricane tomorrow, and then move into the Bahamas and then affect Florida as a major hurricane as we get later into the, probably around Labor Day, which would be Monday. Let's take a closer look now at the cone, and we can see that they bring the storm in as a major Category 3, almost Category 4 hurricane on Monday with 125-mile-an-hour winds, and they take it into central Florida right now. The cone has just swallowed the entire state of Florida and parts of South Georgia as well. So very much something that we're going to have to watch. Now, here's some of the models, some of the spaghetti models, taking it, most of them take it to Florida and then curve it into the southeastern U.S., some maybe into Georgia, maybe into the Carolinas. In fact, as we look at, I'm going to show you the GFS ensembles. Some of those ensemble members even take it along the northern Gulf Coast, some even into Alabama. So you can see the forecast dilemma that we'll have to be dealing with. We'll keep you up to date on Dorian. On this day in hurricane history, Hurricane Katrina came ashore in the central Gulf Coast. We know what it did in New Orleans. The total death toll along the central Gulf Coast, 1,800 people on this date in 2005. And by the way, that leads to this trivia question. What was the last hurricane that made landfall in the state of Florida? Do you remember? That would be Hurricane Katrina in 2005. It was a Category 1. So there you go. That's that trivia question. Meteorologist Ryan Stinnen and I will talk about Dorian and other stuff on the weather this morning on CBS 8 and ABC 32 at 5:50 a.m. There'll be another video for you first thing tomorrow morning at 4:45 a.m. We're live on the radio this morning from 6 to 9 on News Talk 93.1. And your forecast whenever you want it across the dial on the Blue Water family of stations. We'll keep you up to date on Dorian, a situation that... it's potentially disastrous situation developing for the southeastern U.S. We'll see you later.
Rich Thomas Weather.